reassembled, and the nearly 1,000 objects are put back where they belong.
The end effect was that what had been conceived as an ensemble, again, like the Oranjezaal, like the Rijksmuseum, this doll's house from the 18th century, gave us an enormous insight into various aging phenomena, into how do conservators between disciplines collaborate to be able to tackle such a historic problem. The fourth project we would like to present to you is a restoration of a very small and beautiful panel from the collection of the Royal Picture Gallery, the Mauritshuis in The Hague. This panel was painted by Karel Fabritius and represents the Goldfinch. Many of you will know that particularly beautiful small painting. And the exceptional thing about this project is that the restoration was taken care of in front of the museum public. And there again, the museum conservators, but the curators, the museum personnel was absolutely astonished at how interested the museum public was about the issue of restoration itself. Being able to follow the procedure, some of those operations are quite slow and lengthy, but absolutely spellbinding because of their discovering elements, like many things we did not know about the little goldfinch before starting the preliminary research.
Dat was zeer verrassend om te zien dat de achtergrondkleur van de muur zo blauwachtig is geworden wanneer de vernis weg wordt gehaald. En precies in de verfdoorsnede is het mogelijk te zien dat in de loodwitlaag, de witte kleur, de witte verf van de achtergrond, daar zit behalve een klein beetje zwart, een klein beetje bruin, ook heel kleurrijke, kleursterke smaltdeeltjes. Dat betekent dus blauwe pigmentkorrels van glas die kobalt bevat. En deze smaltverf geeft dus dit blauwe zweem over die lichte muur achter het vogeltje. Zodat je mag verwachten dat wanneer die gele vernis weg is, dan krijg je zo'n wit gekalkte muur met zo'n blauwe hemel tegenover die blauwe reflectie daarop indiceert. En dat hele spel met licht en reflecties en kleur van licht is iets die heel bekend is van de Delftse schilders rond die tijd waarin Fabritius werkte.
And all these things slowly, that information about what was the authenticity, how was it presented, how was it made, all these things that are, again, like in the Oranjezaal, like in the Doll's House, like in the Rijksmuseum, the product, the harvest of multidisciplinary and preliminary research, all these things find a very eager and willing public to be informed. The fact that they are present themselves during the work, that they can follow it, was absolutely an added fascination to the museum public. Up till now, in the 17th, 18th, 19th century, we've been dealing with traditional, so-called traditional materials like paint or metal or paper. But today, artists use almost anything they can lay their hands on, like plastic or things that are really very fragile in their chemical and physical composition. An important, again, multidisciplinary research project was set up to gather information about the conservation problems raised by contemporary and modern art.
Since 1995, the Netherlands Institute for Cultural Heritage has been carrying out research into the conservation and restoration of modern materials and modern art. Man-made materials have often turned out to age or disintegrate quickly, so that a work of art loses its impact or is in danger of disappearing altogether.
One object we studied in the beginning was an object which became completely brown afterwards, which was completely contrary to the intention of the artist, of course. Here we see how those works should look like, completely white. A work of Henk Peters, and this is a foam work from 1959. The foam, the polyurethane foam, became completely brown after aging. And when you want to restore or to conserve this kind of object, it's impossible. We consulted the artist, of course, and he said, "Oh, I make a new one." And then you come in kind of theoretical problems, because it's not after 40 years can an artist recreate a work after 40 years. And he did it actually. So we did this kind of experiment, and we came slowly to kind of consciousness that we had to preserve not only the objects but processes.
En wat we ons ook afvroegen is bijvoorbeeld dit werk. Constructie in wat nu in het Ziegenpark staat.
Dat is verzinkt. Dat is thermisch verzinkt.
We interview artists. We try to get enough information about intentions and background of their works. Also intentions about appearance, for instance.
Want dat roest, dat gaat allemaal via een heleboel kleine pitjes en putjes. En die breken meer af aan, laten we zeggen, aan mijn verhoudingsverlangen van de delen. Door die pitjes. Dat is een verstoring. Dan dat ze bijdragen aan de acceptatie van de veroudering.
This installation of Lydia Schouten, it's a multimedia installation. It has video projections, which has to be synchronized, and they are playing all together. The work is from '86, and all those elements were stored in the storage of ICN, but we didn't have enough documentation to know exactly how they should react to each other. So what we did together with the artist, we rebuilt the whole installation, and we made a very detailed videotape and a documentation of all those elements, how they should function in the installation.
The artist herself is present to oversee the reassembly.
ICN coordinates and also has been setting up an international network for the conservation of contemporary art. INCA is a knowledge network where we collaborate with different international partners to exchange the knowledge for the conservation and preservation of contemporary art. So I have here an example, the artist Balka. This is all in the archive now, which has been provided by all those different members. And here I see effects of Balka, where he explains how to install his works. And still museums are providing new information to INCA.
As a conclusion of this preview of those restoration projects, like the one you just saw about the challenge of modern materials and the conservation problems of modern art, maybe we could summarize what we've seen. We've seen that the visual material is very interesting. It should be an appetizer for the big production that will be presented in The Hague in September 2005. And we can conclude also that all those endeavors of bringing together restoration projects, research and training programs, this is really our challenge for the future. It's not as if we're ready now, we're finished. Conservation is really and should be an ongoing commitment for the future.